you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence to come to your door. Because now it's Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador. How many more? Tell me now, how?
Peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. Brothers and sisters, thank you for your time. I know the value of it. You know, we're going to come on right now. Peace, peace, peace. What's up, Jazera? You hear me?
Yes, peace, brother Frank. How you doing?
Peace and love, family. Y'all hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Peace, peace, resurrect. I hear you. Free the land.
All right, man. I was using a new microphone and I wanted to see if everything was good, but I couldn't hear nobody talking, so that's not going to work. I have to find another way.
No, we understand. We understand.
Yeah, so thank you for your time. Thank you for being on this important platform, you know, where we talk about the need and the importance of organizing around political prisoners. You know, October is Black Panther Party History Month. You know, it hasn't been officially recognized by everybody as that, but we know that this is the time where it started. Y'all both on, right?
Yes.
All right. Something came on my screen, and I was just making sure. But this is the time where it was started, so we have to do what's correct and recognizing that. So in this month, there were a number of things that were going on. You had the Black Panther Party Film Festival, and that was very important. I went to one of them, and I got educated. But we recognized the history of the Black Panther Party with what we did with Curbfest. Curbfest was event that happened for us, those who participated in this particular one in South Jamaica Queens. And that was very important because that's a history of the Black Panther Party. They had an office, or at the time it was New York Boulevard. You also had a number of Black Panther of Black Liberation Army members, cadres that came out of South Jamaica. So we, as an organized force, decided that it was necessary for us to do that. So today's discussion is going to be about how that happened, what went into that, and the benefits of that moving forward. So I had a number of questions that I wanted to talk to both of you about, and I gave them both to you on a text. But before I get into those questions, I would want to let the people know that the importance of us having a platform where we talk about political prisoners, then actually going out into the streets and organizing to raise people's consciousness about that. So as I prepared for today's discussion, I noticed that there were similarities between you had the organizing committee for the Curbfest. I thought about the central part. I mean, I thought about the central committee that the Black Panther Party had, and that was structured to make decisions. I thought about you had an outreach committee I thought about the Black Panther Party newspaper, and that was a way to get ideas to the people. We had a number of people that we talked to. We went out to the community. We gave out our information. That carried on that tradition of bringing ideas to people, raising their consciousness. We had a committee that was around fundraising for political prisoners, or fundraising rather for Curbfest. And the Black Panther Party, they had a fundraiser for political prisoners. They did fundraisers for a number of projects. Um, we fed the people. The Black Panther Party had the free breakfast program, and they fed the people. So I was connecting the dots, and I was talking. I was discussing as I researched about the Curbfest, is that was really good because we was out to carry that. We carried out that legacy in that way. So enough of me. Now let's get into my brothers, Corey and Jasiri. So Jasiri, for those who don't know, just reintroduce yourself, and then we have Corey reintroduce himself. Just, it's always important for those who don't come on this platform regularly, or are new to this platform, that they have a familiarity with the people that I bring on. So Jasiri, just tell the people who you are.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Brother Frank, for having us here on this platform. Jasiri Fahali Kiyama, organizer with Holla, How Our Lives Link All Together. I'm a organizer within Holla, been in Holla for the last 8 years, and continuing, this the work of healing our people and freeing our people. I pass.
Yes, thank you, brother. My brother Corey.
I echo the gratitude for coming on. Shout out to you, brother Frank. Shout out to all the listeners. Free the land, free all our political prisoners. Corey, family from Mississippi, grew up in New York and Queens. Holla developed in prison by the 1970 prison rights movement. People who was healers and organizers in the community. A lot of the Black Panther Party veterans, Black Liberation Army veterans, Revolutionary Action Movement veterans, Puerto Rican Independent Movement veterans. And when we came into prison from doing social crimes, we was able to get developed and get a responsibility in prison to come back out and be assets to our communities. And we've been trying to do that ever since, building with young people and building with communities in New York and across the country.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your consistency. I appreciate you motivating me to step it up, because I'm truly inspired by how y'all organize, and the details in which you organize, and the consistency of what comes out of you organizing. I think there needs to be a balance, right? As professional revolutionaries, that you have to have the theory and the practice, and you have to find time for both. The first question is, did Curbfest in South Jamaica hold up the legacy of the Black Panther Party? Ask Corey that first. Do you think that the Curbfest held up the legacy of the Black Panther Party?
Well, the Black Panther Party and our Black Power movement and liberation movement are big, big, big shoes to fill for all of us. And we are constantly trying to develop and upgrade the science, and develop ourselves to be able to live up to what our elders and ancestors have done and have laid out for us. With that being said, we definitely continue the tradition of the Black Panther Party. This is our fourth Curbfest in New York. Curbfest was started as a national movement. Shout out to the Boston and Philly folks, Ty, brother Russ, sister Val, Yane, Tone, and it has spread throughout the country. Holla was able to get on board in 2022. We started off working with Baba Sekou, Odinga, who was a Black Panther veteran and Black Liberation Army veteran, who now transitioned to the ancestor realm. But he wanted to start Curbfest in New York to kind of free his comrades, to help free his comrades, the Black Liberation Movement. And he came to Holla and came to many groups and said, "Can you continue this work?" So I would like to say that the work that we doing 4 years later is holding that down. Secondly, being in Southside Jamaica Queens, where Baba Sekou is from, Asada spent time at, Dr. Matula Shakur, Herman Ferguson, Kamal Siddiqui, um, being in Queens, being in South Jamaica Housing 40 Project, shout out to Queens, and really trying to connect with community that is going through stuff and share a spirit of love. We had food there. We had people that came with good spirits, gave good performances. We seen community members stopping by, grabbing T-shirts, blowing their horn. Um, some elder talked about when the Black Panther Party was on um, the Boulevard, and that he's been in 40 projects ever since. He's a longtime veteran. So that gave me the feeling that the community really appreciated us being there, and that we was being a reflection of that image. Um, we connected with Impedum. We connected with D12. We had the All African Revolutionary Party people there. We had Harlem Peace Walk, Holla, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, the People Senate. Um, it was a unified effort too, which is representing some of the last works the Black Panther Party and many other of our movements was doing, trying to build a united front to fight against the violence that's going on in our communities. The last thing I would say was that we honored Baba Jalil Monte King and Sister Val, who are veterans of the Black Panther Party and Black Liberation Army family, because it was their birthday and they couldn't be there. We honored Asada. We honored Baba Sekou, Mama Cleo Silvers, Mama Delcia Pagan. Um, those were little reminders that we trying to hold down the legacy as well.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. You highlighted that, the community, that brother from the community spoke about when the Black Panther Party had their office on New York Boulevard, which is now God Brewer. I think that, that's important that we remind people of that history, and that history continues to live on in our mind and our heart. Jasiri, same question. Uh, did Curbfest in South Jamaica hold up the legacy of the Black Panther Party?
Yeah, I think Corey explained it wonderfully. Uh, Definitely a lot of big shoes to fill, right? And I think definitely for those who don't know about the legacy, I would believe that is also a part of, um, you know, uh, that reminder of, the Black Liberation Movement, of the Black Panther Party, right? That political education, right? Um, so all the groups uh, that unified were indeed, folks who have done political education in the past, have done work around donating and raising funds for political prisoners, prisoners of war. We've worked with AAPRP before, Black Alliance for Peace, NEPPC. So we've been doing work throughout the year, standing on that legacy, right? Politicizing each other, educating each other around political prisoners, prisoners of war, specifically from the Black Liberation Movement, um, um, uh, to help us understand, who we are and what work that we must represent and continue. And yeah, I think from last year's Curve Fest till now, I think everybody was just everybody is seeing the fruits of what it means to unify, and I think we just begun. It's 4 years, but we hope to see this in 20 years later, right? Um, and see what this unity actually creates, right? What programs can we create in our communities to sustain that kind of legacy around the Black Panther Party, around supporting political prisoners and prisoners of war? Um, so there's so many possibilities. I'm thinking of the Queens Community Justice Center that we got in touch with. And we talked to Brother Rashid about taking some of the young brothers and young sisters to go see Reverend Joy Powell, right? Because she's right there in Bedford Hills, which is, about 2 hours away. And so, these are different programs that, are possibilities to come out of Curfest, out of, bringing that awareness to Jamaica Queens, to various communities, and also letting them know that this is a part of this is your legacy. Would you like to, come out next year and help with the barbecue? Would you like to support in different ways by volunteering on the day of? You know, uh, we want to think more strategically and more openly about how do we, uh, help the local community know that this ceremony is theirs, and that those are our captured freedom fighters, right? Those are the best men and women of our community. We must bring them home.
Absolutely. You just laid out the entire idea and concept rather about political education. We know something and then we have to act on it, right? Because that is the importance, or that is the purpose of being politically educated, to take an idea, concept, and put it into action. And I think that that is what Perfest does. It gives people information. It shows people that we can do something. We can transform ourselves. We can transform our community, just like we transformed the community center into African Liberation Institute. You had it on the outside, and when you went inside, you were seeing more information. And then when you went to one of the rooms that we had, you were able to actually participate in some organized action, which was letter writing. Um, Next question is, how was the organizing of Curbfest like the organizing done by the Black Panther Party? That's for you could answer that one, Corey.
I wasn't in the Black Panther Party, man, so I don't know the everyday organizing. To your appointment, I know they had committees. I know they had an officer of the day that kind of held down certain things. I know they had security. I know they had PE. I know they had outreach and recruitment. So a lot of those things we did those things, and we had organization around those things. Um, I would assume like the Black Panthers, it's a learning process. We trying to develop our science. Over the last 4 years, like once again, we were started by our ancestor now, an elder Baba Sekou Odinga. And we developed all of these committees and arms the first year with a group of people. Some people, only it was about 10 groups that was a part of that. The next year, about three of those groups came back. So we had systems in place, but we still didn't have the same core team. So last year and this year, we started learning more about how do we develop the administration organization of our institution of New York Curve Fest. And to your point, fundraising committee, program committee, pulling on all of our Google Docs and spreadsheets from before. We kind of got a set program that we've been doing the last 3 years with food, performances, speakers, letter writing, chalking up the floor, tabling with community members and organizers that's doing local work that's really important to Black liberation. Um, and we've been working to develop those signs. Always a lot of learned lessons um, with how to bring people on, how to be consistent. We are talking about now, after going through another wonderful year, how to develop the science by starting earlier and developing Curve Fest. And that usually happen in September and October. We started talking about having conversations as early as January. So folks in New York, um, if you around, and send a message to Frank, send a message to Holla, send a message to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. If you're down to be a part of the Curbfest, the vest and pre-planning starting in January. But it's ongoing work, man. I think we trying to organize. I think the main thing we doing is we trying to organize, and we trying to have organization and science related to how organize, and it's a process. And I think we did about a 7 out of 10. And we got more, more room to improve. But it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. Shout out to Mary. Shout out to Eileen. Shout out to Ardasha, Tag, Brittany, Mama Betty, and Pedum, the Darrell Mickles campaign. Shout out to Holla, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, Sister Ya, Val. Um, if I'm missing anybody, it was a lot of work, that comes together. Um, and we get a chance to facilitate with each other. We get a chance to study with each other. Shout out to the workers, Heidi. We get a chance to build with each other. So I think, we organizing, it's, people got to come talk to us more on the side about the details of that. But in that way, it's similar to the Black Panther Party. And once again, I didn't know all of the details, but we definitely understand that we need committees, we need programs, we need formations, we need the vision, and then we need to get our coordination more coordinated.
Absolutely. I think that, when we do our research of the Black Panther Party and then we start to extract certain points that we learned from them, then we express that in our work. And I think that what's most important is that we do the work, right? And that's why the U.S. political prisoners and this show is about that. It's about taking an idea and bringing it to a people and being amongst the people and raising their consciousness and encouraging them to participate in some organized work around freeing our political prisoners, because that's our job, that's our responsibility, that's our political obligation. Brother Jasiri, that same question. How was the organizing of Curbfest like the organizing done by the Black Panther Party?
Yes, and from my thoughts, and definitely, as Corey said, we both wasn't in the party, and definitely reading and studying is not even close to actual being there, right? But from what I've learned, definitely, and this also comes from a quote from Ella Baker, talked about making the struggle every day, right? And that's the work what the Black Panther Party did, right? They sacrificed and took accountability and made the struggle every day. Um, hearing how Bob Jalil got involved, and how Asada as a young woman got involved, and other many folks who, you know, seen that, they were directly impacted by the type of genocide that has happened to African Black people here in the Americas and abroad. But definitely that they had to be accountable to that and had to sacrifice. And so I think that's what we did for at least those few months that we organized Curfest and that day of, um, right? To replicate that energy, replicate that spirit of sacrifice, of dedication, of accountability, right? And I think that's why the outreach is so important, right? Being out there in the community, talking to the people, not about no, about real truth. This is what we talk. We just talking the truth, right? That African Black people still don't got rights here in America, right? And that our captured freedom fighters, right? Those that are political prisoners and prisoners of war, they understood that they were not going to continue to be subjected to that type of genocide or allow their people, mothers, fathers, sisters, cousins, brothers, neighbors, to be subjected to that type of genocide. So we took the call, right? So I think that's one thing we could say, that Curfest is us for that time being in that spirit of liberation, and making the struggle every day. And we hope that that generates to us doing organizing every day, and inspires other community members to organize every day. Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that, brother. You said a very important word that we need to continue to say, consistency. You said accountability, and that's exactly what the Black Panther Party was about. That's exactly what the Black Liberation Army is about. That's exactly what organizing around freeing our political prisoners is about. It's about accountability. You know, you're conscious of a political prisoner. What are you doing about it? Are you writing to a political prisoner? Are you talking to your family about a political prisoner? Are you going to programs around political prisoners? What does that mean to you? Is it information, or is it more than that? Is it something that you're going to develop in terms of your consciousness to the point where you're going to take some type of action? So I think that, you know, Curbfest was about that. It was about letting people know this is how serious we taking our political prisoners. We're bringing it to this community. We're letting this community know that, you know, these are captured freedom fighters and they need to be free, and we can only free them. My next question is that, you know, I'm going to give you both questions, right? Because I know that, you know, we coming to a close, and I appreciate this discussion. It's very important. You know, our home is always the home of hollers. So the next two questions is, what stood out to you at Curbfest, and what do you think the community was left with? So those two questions for you, my brother Corey. Again, is what stood out to you at Curbfest? What do you think the community was left with?
Can I pass it to Siri? Jasiri, you want to start us off this time? And Frank, I'm feeling your hat too, man. Shout out to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, man.
Yeah,
Looking good
I
over
just
there.
came, it just came today, man. I'm trying to figure out how to make it, how to rock it right. So that's why I said let me put it on today. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Now
that. Jasiri,
you
you want to take this first, or you want me
rocking
to
it. You
jump in?
rocking it. Either one. It don't matter. I can do it. Can you
Good, I'll
state the
let you.
Oh, the question is two questions. It was what stood out to you at Curbfest, and what do you think the community was left with? And thank you for the compliment on the hat, brothers.
Yeah, no, that's fine. um, what stood out to me at Curfest? Um, I think not just stood out, but what you know we originally had. You know, when we organized and we was getting volunteers and people to donate certain things, you know, we originally was supposed to have like I think 12 tables. And I think in the end, some people, you know, couldn't supply those tables. And I think in the end we only had about five, right? Um, and the same thing that we did last year, we did this year was we told organizations who were tabling to, you know, we have to share a table, right? We have to be in community, right? In that kind of way, you know, to share a table, to, you know, be able to you know, adjust and support each other in those ways. So I think, you know, you've seen a lot of sharing. You've seen a lot of people supporting each other, right? Whether it's on the grill, it's at the tables, it's with the mics, it's, you know, cleaning up. So I really appreciate that. And that's a part of the spirit that we need to keep up when we unify. And then what did the community leave with? Definitely knowing about political prisoners and prisoners of war, knowing that there's something, you know, even if, you know, people didn't know their names before, they definitely left with the name of Sekou Odinga, Asada Shakur, right? Matulu Shakur, right? They definitely heard those names um, and are reminded of, you know, that there's a legacy there that they are connected to.
That's beautiful, man. I think that, you know, the community, you know, there was an organized effort to make that happen. So throughout that organized effort, the community was made aware of the idea of political prisoners. Because I know that when me and Jasiri was out there doing outreach, the sister said, "Oh yeah, Sada Shakur just died." So me giving her something sparked that interest in what was going on. I don't know if she came or not, but the fact that that idea was brought to her, an idea that's not commonly brought to the people. Because there was a time that I was in Queensbridge, and we was talking about political prisons to a community, and that was something rare. And the banner itself that says "Don't let political prisoners die in prison" is something that makes people wonder why. Like, why should I be concerned about that? Or maybe I should be concerned about that. Let me do some research. Let me pay more attention. So, my brother Corey, those two questions: what stood out to you at Curbfest, and what do you think the community was left with?
3 years ago, we started doing altars at Curbfest. And the altar, at Curbfest is just an extra beauty. I seen Mama Day Quee looking at the altar and I seen so many people just, besides all of the performances, the food, the conversation, the tabling, people just had moments with the altar. Shout out to Eddie Ellis, one of my teachers, Baba Sekou, Queen Mother Moore, Fannie Lou Hammer, Ella Baker. These are some centerpieces, Dr. Matula Shakur for Holla's altar, plus all the other stuff that we had there from the community. So that gave us a chance to say that, we are ancestors. We are the work of our ancestors, and our ancestors are still with us. The DJ was fire. Shout out to the DJs, keeping the vibe going. In the in and outs was crazy. As people coming up, as people coming down, the chalk on the floor, like you said, we turned the South Jamaica Community Center into African institution in less than 30, 40 minutes. With our creativity and with our kaumba, right? With our creativity. What else stood out to me, man? I I appreciated all of the comrades that we had there, all of the work that they were sharing around community control. And Pete, I'm talking about community control and how we all need to join that work. The people sitting was there, talking about the 5 charges of genocide. And one of the charges is definitely freeing our political prisoners and prisoners of war. And how we all need to still tap into that work as a collective. And all of us were sharing really important work that every formation need to be tapped into, collectively tapped into. We was talking about the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. Hollers is launching their Youth African Rites of Passage to bring young people directly from our neighborhoods and families into the Black Liberation Movement. We need to support that. That stood out to me. So the community-specific programs, what we was left with, I think Baba Omawali talked about unity. And Curbfest give us one of those days where a lot of formations come together. What also stood out to me, people really enjoy being there. Shout out to Baba Herman Bell. Shout out to Baba Suniata, Akole. Shout out to the Barron's family, right? We had our elders out there, seeing them hug each other, seeing them happy to be with each other. Sometimes when you go to events and you got to give speeches, you trying to do stuff with family, and I'm pretty sure all of them are busy, but it felt like they felt happy to be there, like they wasn't in no rush. Like it was good to see each other. I even seen them listening to each other. Like when the Barons was speaking, I seen Baba Herman Bell and Baba Omawali really listening, like trying to learn. When Baba Omawali was speaking, I seen the Barons and them really listening. Mama Dequee really listening. So I think that's really important. And the message they were saying is that we got to build unity, particularly the next generation and the current generation, to really hold our elders accountable and really to honor their work. And to carry the things that they couldn't complete. And that's not saying that our movement don't got unity, because I just talked about how they was hugging and loving each other, but there's always levels to take the science to. And I think we was left with that we gotta really all support each other's work in a serious way, not just programmatically, but really get involved with each other's work. And we gotta make our elders and ancestors proud by coming together, and by being together, and not theoretically, but relationally, political education wise, and build programs together that could really hold us down. That we know we down with each other because the way we build programs with each other and the way we support each other. And we need it, all the time in the history of war and genocide. And this time is no different, but it's our time. So it's really important.
Oh man, yeah, you made me very emotional when you said what you said, because we are a family, right? And that was like a family union, and it was expressed in our community. And for me, just to see my aunt drive by and my two cousins drive by, and my other cousin who was at the community center one of the days where we was doing outreach, to see me out there talking to people about political prisoners, that resonate, that stays with them, right? That image of me being in uniform, me holding a palm card that's red, black, and green. They start to understand that that's what my family member is fighting for. That is what my family member is into, right? They might not know the particulars, the intricate details, but they still have an idea of that's important to him. And why is it important to him? At some point, it may not be raised in their mind, but just to be a part of that representation for my family, that's important to me, because it's a part of my legacy, and it's a part of my saying thank you to those who sacrificed our political prisoners, the Sekou Odingas, the Matula Shakors, the Seth Hayes, the Sinkays, and all those other brothers and sisters that I may not have mentioned. But I appreciate you brothers' time. Looking forward to doing more organizing work. Thank you for keeping me around. Thank you for keeping me inspired. Thank you for keeping my heart pumping. It's not many of us out there, but we have enough, and we can do as much as we can as long as we remain committed. All right, so I'm signing
Right
off.
on.
Y'all got any last words, or y'all good?
Thank you for having us. Shout out to the family listening. Shout out to the Black Power Media. We are launching a youth program, a rites of passage coming up. So tap in the Holla website, hillwithholla.com. Holla's connected to Harlem Peace Walk in Harlem. We connected to Curbfest. We connected to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. We connected to the People Senate. So we say holla, but we definitely trying to build with all of our peoples. And we looking forward to connect with people doing local work, organizing work across the country. So that we can come check in, talk about program, talk about relationships, and try to build what we doing locally, across local localities. So we looking forward to reaching out to the family that's organizing, seriously trying to develop our young people into the movement, and how can we build into local connections. Peace, free the land.
Yes, peace and love, man. Thank you, man. Any last words for you, Jasiri, or you good?
Nah, thank you, brother Frank. Thank you. Thank the NEPPC for having us here. Yep. I
All
second
right, what's
what
the
he said.
call?
Free them all. Free them
Free them
all.
all.
Free and
Free them
more,
all.
definitely. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Peace and love, y'all.
Don't let
Ashe.
political
Sail the sea, Indians live proud and free before the oppressor's slavery. Black people live proud and free. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and say you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How children go off to war. Don't stay